session.
Second.
Would you take the vote, please?
Supervisor Saladino,
Aye.
Councilman Muscarello,
Aye.
Councilman McEnroe,
Aye.
Councilwoman Alessio.
Before voting, I just want to again thank the supervisor and deputy supervisor Greg Carmen and the staff at DPW for taking my request seriously, and I yes.
Thank you very much for making that request, Councilwoman.
Councilwoman Johnson,
Aye.
Councilman Imbroda,
Aye.
Councilman Yan. Motion carries with 7 ayes. Ready for the regular action?
Yes, we are. Please call the resolution calendar.
I will, just for the record, we're going to table 307 and 318 resolution. So may I have a motion to table resolution number 307 and resolution number 318? On the motion.
So moved. Second.
Motion made by Councilman Muscarello, seconded by Councilman McEnroe. On the vote, Supervisor Saladino.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarello.
Aye.
Councilman McEnroe.
Aye.
Councilwoman Alessio.
Aye.
Councilwoman Johnson.
Aye.
Councilman Imbroda.
Aye.
Councilman Hand.
Aye.
Motion to table resolutions number 307 and 318 passes with 7 ayes. Now, may I have a motion to adopt resolutions numbers P-13-17 through Reso 324, noting that 307 and 318 were tabled. On the motion.
So moved. Second.
Motion made by Councilman Muscarello, seconded by Councilman McEnroe. Supervisor, you have a number of people wanting to speak on various resolutions.
Yes, we do. Comment, Larry Sklar.
Supervisor, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Second longest meeting I've been to. The last one you fell asleep at 4 o'clock in the morning. Say Hassett High School. In reference to 301, that's 75 Thorman Avenue. I spoke about this 5 or 6 weeks ago. We had cleaned up this property. It's an abandoned house on Thorman Avenue in Dixville. Right next to a beautiful $650,000 house that I just built to a veteran next door. I had asked, can we go to the county and have this house condemned? It's an unsafe house. It's half falling apart. We have vagrants that come periodically and break open the back door and sleep in the back. The homeowner next door can't believe what's going on. And I'd really love to see something happen with this property already.
Thank you, Larry. I'll get you an answer.
Now, I have the second one
Sure.
I'd like to mention. In North Massapequa, on Lake,
Is this part of the calendar?
this is important, you really want to hear it, because this is a comic, okay? On Lake Street, there's a housing development owned by the town of Oyster Bay. Call Jim Pickens and he won't give you an answer. They put in brand new doors in this entire development last week, over a week ago. But they made one mistake. They put in fire doors in the rear, instead of putting a door with a lock and a key so the tenants can get in and out. Got handicapped people, senior citizens living there, and they can't get in through the handicap entrances. And it's 5 days already, nobody did anything.
We will make sure that that gets addressed immediately. That's very important.
Thank you.
That we look into that.
Thank you.
Thank you
Lake
so
and
much.
Lake Street, 40 Lake Street,
What do you think?
and Clock.
Okay, thank you. Robert Fryer? Robert Fryer?
He had to leave.
Paul Molinari?
I was on the hearing.
That was, okay, which you spoke already. Okay. Robert Ripp?
My name is Robert Ripp. I live at 77 Sunset.
Can you just wait us, we have a little bit of a malfunction?
Oh, yeah, sure. Let me know when you're, no, let me know when you're going.
Since these data malfunctions are, streaming's not working again.
It's not working?
What a coincidence.
Good enough, Mr. Rick.
He's 10 minutes. Why don't we put it on this?
Let me know when you get everything coordinated.
Yeah, well, thank you. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I want to start out with Resolution 309. I want to bring your attention to the backup material here. First of all, this is a resolution where we're looking to sell $15 million in revenue anticipation notes. And the backup information, there's very little information here. It says that there's no mention of any of the interest rates or the terms, and it claims that normally, from what I understand, in a revenue anticipation note, you sell the notes, get the money, and you do some sort of project with it. And what you have here is in anticipation of the receipt of aid from the state of New York, the sales tax revenue, and mortgage stock recording as what you intend on counting on to repay this $50 million. I'd like to bring your attention that the lack of backup material, I don't believe you should proceed with this resolution today. I don't know if you received the June 2nd decision in my last Article 78. I specifically had made an Article 78 based on the town's repeated violations of the open meeting law. I'd like to inform you that Judge Brown ruled that the Town of Oyster Bay Town Board shall report to the New York State Committee on Open Government for a training session. And
which resolution is this on?
this is on I'm speaking about 309. And if you read, what the point I'm trying to make is, if you get a chance to read this is index number 1834-17, RIP against Town of Oyster Bay, you find out that the judge rules that you need to answer people's questions up here. Not answering questions is considered violating the open meetings law.
Let me start off right now by answering a question and providing some information. Just for public consumption, this was a lawsuit that you brought against the town and you lost. So it's very
I won. This is a lawsuit that I brought against the town, and I prevailed on everything. This lawsuit has to do with, there are 2 instances of violations of open meeting law, which you're now going to be attending remedial training on. There were a number of FOIL requests which were legally withheld.
I think we're getting a little...
I'd like to answer the question, please.
Certainly.
So I just want to answer the question so we're all on the same page. All right, the judge in this action has ordered that you have 30 days to answer my outstanding FOIL request. By June 30th, you have to provide to the court all the information in regards to Mr. McCaffrey and the 26 individuals that were interviewed for his position. And then what's going to happen is on July 18th, we're all going to go back to court.
Mr. Rip, let's get you an answer. If you make it...
I'm sorry, I'm still answering your question. Let me finish answering your question.
Make the accusation we're not answering questions because right now you're way off of the resolution.
Well, I'm answering your question, sir.
No, sir.
So on July 18th, we're all going to go back to court, and the
Mr.
court's
Rip,
going to
please.
determine that you've complied with the order on the year. So, Mr. Ambrodo, that's the action I'm speaking about.
Thank you, Mr. Rip. Thank
So,
you.
in relation to 309,
Excuse me, could you stop time for a second? I only read that this morning, you sent me a copy of that. I'd like to get a copy of these things that come up, it's gonna come from the town board, can you please, the town attorney, forward me a copy?
Please, Mr. Nocella, please come forward.
would you like me to step aside?
Please.
No problem, thank you.
The decision was, we received it yesterday and emailed to the entire town board.
I didn't receive a copy, I apologize, but I didn't receive a copy.
Let's make sure we get another copy to the council.
Absolutely.
I got it from Mr. Rip this morning, actually, but he emailed me a copy this morning.
Sure, I can show you how it was emailed, even from my phone, but it
Okay.
was emailed from my office.
Either way,
Thank
let's
you.
make sure that each and every one of the board members have a copy in their possession, so that...
So if I don't get back to you personally, please reach out to me, because I will say I got it, thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Councilman Ambrodo did get back to me and acknowledge receipt of it. I'll note that I'll actually ask everybody to acknowledge receipt, just receipt. And if I don't get an acknowledgement from you, Councilman, I'll forward it in some other form.
Well, it was not germane to the issues at hand for the public's consumption. I believe it's very important to set the record straight. Mr. Rip is under the impression that he won this lawsuit. Can you speak to that?
That's largely incorrect. Almost every form of relief that he sought was denied by the court. He wanted to nullify two town resolutions. The court denied that request. It upheld the resolutions and said we could go forward with that. There were other applications that were made by Mr. Ripp. They were denied in their entirety. During oral argument, Mr. Ripp was asked about his FOIL requests, and he said he was no longer interested in them and he abandoned them. That part of the judge's written order, however, did grant the FOIL requests. We believe that's an error, as we also believe certain other elements of Judge Brown's decision are in error, and we intend to take an appeal, which incidentally stays any relief that was granted. Mr. Ripp didn't correctly note that Judge Brown recommended that the town board have open public meeting training, but I want to note that Supervisor Saladino's entire proposals that lead to open and transparent government caused us to have this as part of the agenda anyway. We were planning on training, especially for the new members of town government and for the new members of the town board, and all those would benefit from a refresher course on that. So even though that segment of Judge Brown's order is stayed, it's still something that, consistent with your initiatives toward open and transparent government, we intend to go forward with voluntarily.
Mr. Nocella, is it true that we have now added ethics training to the different types of training for our town board members and our employees?
That is absolutely correct.
And is it true that the town board members have attended that, and perhaps our newest one, I'm not positive.
I did not, I was out of town.
You were out of town.
I haven't attended yet.
So can we make sure that not only that we provide new dates for ethics training for our town board members, and that we're also including this information that the judge had recommended?
Yes, most definitely. Again, Supervisor, I believe it had been planned by you all along as part of your transparency and open government initiatives. So that's why, regardless of whether the judge's order is stayed while we're pursuing an appeal, we intend to go through with it voluntarily.
Thank you very much. So, Mr. Ripp, let's get to the question of...
So 309, the resolution itself, sir, I don't think you should vote on this today because it's my opinion, based on the judge's prior decisions, that you haven't produced enough of the backup information that nobody can really
Your
understand.
opinions were proven to be faulty.
I'm sorry.
Your opinions were proven to be faulty by the court. You just heard the decision.
No, I just heard Mr. Nocella's rendition, but the transcripts that I have are going to prove everything that he just said wrong. So in relation to 309, I don't think that the town has followed the open meetings law and provided adequate information before you vote, especially $15 million in revenue anticipation bonds. I mean, I'll ask you, what do you intend on doing with the money?
Okay, if you're done, you can take a seat. And
No, I'm not done, and my time's not up, so I have some more resolutions, but I'd like to ask you, what are we going to do with the $15 million?
Happy to get these questions answered once you're fully done.
Okay, so just answer that one. Do we intend on using it?
Sir, maybe we're having a
I'd like to know what we're going to do with the $15 million.
Maybe we're having a communication breakdown. Please use your time to give us the information you'd like us to know, and then please take a seat and we'll get the information answered.
All right, I'd like to know in resolution in regards to resolution 318, I'd like to know why we're involved in doing business on school property. 318 was tabled, sorry. And resolution 323, I don't understand why the town, this is almost like a mini Sing thing in my opinion. Why would the town get involved in a surfing school where the revenue we expect to get is between $4,000 and $5,000? You don't, again, this is something that you're missing some serious backup information. There's no insurance information here. These are surf lessons, stand-up board lessons. Does it make sense for a company that's going to make $4 grand a year for the town? What if somebody drowns down there? To me, that makes no sense at all.
Thank you for your opinions.
You're welcome. In resolution 312, actually 312 and 324. I want to try to straighten this out because we spoke about this in the past. Now 312 is the Liberty Industrial Site. And from what I understand, what we're in litigation now is how much we're going to pay for the property. So I'd like to know how much how much we've paid year-to-date in litigation over that. And then 324, is it 324. Now, this is the Bethpage Community Park. Now, we're in litigation over that because somebody's going to be responsible for the approximate $81 million cleanup. So I'd like to know where we stand on that one also. And then I just have 301. It's really the zombie houses. I was under the impression that 45 Thurman, I thought we had passed...
75.
75, so thank you, Mr. Beckman. I thought you had passed a resolution to demolish that last time, a meeting ago. Maybe I misunderstood. But what I'm interested in is, if you remember the grant money that we received back with Resolution 617 of 216, I think we got almost $400,000, and the town had made plans to hire people and to train people for the zombie, for the New York State zombie register plan. So I'd like to know how we're making out with that, who's handling that. But what I'd really like to know is what we're going to do with the $15 million for the revenue anticipation bonds. How you plan on spending that money? If it's just going to be used for to make ends meet, to meet payroll, or if you have some sort of projects planned. So if you could answer me that about the $15 million, I'd really appreciate it.
Like
Thank
30
you.
million miles of road would be nice.
Yeah, you know what? While I have a couple of minutes, I was wondering, you know what, maybe it's for public comment. I just thought maybe the town, we might be able to get more hands-on involved with some of the road construction, maybe create some employment for people. But we'll talk about that in public comments. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, it's 15 million. I said 150 million.
Okay, is Mr. D'Arienzo here?
Are you going to answer my question, sir?
Please be respectful. Mr. D'Arienzo, would you please step up to the microphone? Mr. D'Arienzo, we've had many conversations about financial issues, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so we have bonds that are coming to maturity.
The resolution that's on the calendar today is for revenue anticipation notes. We're asking the town board to authorize the possibility to issue them at some time during 2017. There's been no issuance made for this purpose so far this year, and there cannot be unless the town board says so.
Isn't it correct that we're still waiting for monies from the county, our portion of the sales tax and other revenues?
That is the exact reason for this resolution. While the town of Oyster Bay prides itself on paying its bills in a timely fashion as soon as they come in, not every receivable that's due to us comes in the same timely fashion. So it's no secret that our cash position has deteriorated over the past couple of years, and we're in a precarious situation in which we're making inroads towards improving, but we're not all the way back just yet. So this allows us to borrow money on a short-term basis until such time as the money due to us comes in.
And then we'll be paying it back.
Correct.
Thank you very much.
I'm sorry, what was the interest rate, sir?
As I mentioned,
Wait a second, I'll be asking the questions. So would you please tell us about this interest rate?
the resolution authorized the possibility to issue debt at a time later this year. There's no interest rate because we haven't borrowed any money yet. If the town board agrees to allow us to potentially borrow money, at that time we will sell these notes, and at that time we'll have an interest rate. But there's no interest rate to report at this time.
So basically, you want us to vote on something we don't know what it's gonna cost us?
Right.
Well, I can't exactly go to the market to borrow money without your authorization.
I realize, Councilman, I realize it's been that way in the past, but it really hasn't worked in the past.
But you can't just determine that until you know whether the Fed raises the rate, what our bond rating is, and everything else in the marketplace. Correct?
Typically, a revenue anticipation note is different than a bond anticipation note or a bond itself. You guys, the town board authorizes a capital program almost every year. We haven't done one for the past couple of years, but when we authorize a capital program each year, those authorizations are in effect for a period of 5 to 40 years. The town board authorizes the possibility at any time during that time frame to issue debt. And so you never know at the time of the authorization exactly how much interest is going to be. In this case, because it's a revenue anticipation note, the request is to be issued at sometime during 2017. It's a shorter period than any other authorization that comes before this board. With that being said, I still can't guarantee what the interest rate will be at the time of borrowing.
Mr. D'Arienzo, do you go out into the market? Is that how this is done?
Yes, absolutely. Once, we issue debt 2 to 3 times a year. Our next band renewal is due up on June 28th. So if the town board sees favorably, we will have a revenue anticipation note that happens at the same time as the band renewal, to have the issuance happen all at one time to save costs for our bond counsel, our financial advisors, rather than have another issuance, 3 or 4 months down the road, where we're duplicating the same efforts and paying them twice.
Are there any other questions? Thank you very much.
No problem.
Could you please answer the rest of my questions for the other
Mr. Ripp.
things? I'm just asking politely, sir.
Mr. Ripp, you're going to have to show a higher level of patience and decorum in this room.
Yes, sir.
You just were upset when I called Mr. D'Arienzo up here because I guess you were assuming I was calling on another resident, when actually I was calling on a town employee to get your question answered. I am now calling on another town employee to get one of your other questions answered.
Thank you very much. I
But
really
we're
appreciate it.
dealing with a situation that does frustrate the residents when they come here in good faith to conduct themselves with decorum and patience and deal with government.
Thank you.
As it is, they've had to listen to you make accusations that are far from the truth. And I will remind you again to conduct yourself with decorum, with patience and professionalism.
I would if
I'd
you would
like to
identify
call-
the accusations you're
I'd like
speaking
to
about.
call,
You're making blanket statements.
I'd like to call
Please say the
Commissioner, this is
accusations.
exactly what I'm talking.
Yes, because you, sir, make blanket
I'd like to call
statements.
Commissioner Pinto to come forward. Thank you, Commissioner Pinto. We're going to try to get the residents' questions answered, despite the fact he's arguing against getting questions answered right now. The question came up about the
Mr.
surf
Public
school.
Space.
Okay.
Please, Mr. Rep, try to contain yourself. The question came up about surf school, and can you tell us if the public had asked for surf school? Can you tell us a little bit of the history?
I'll tell you what I know about the surf school. It was done last year as a pilot program, which the town and the residents really enjoyed, the relationship that we had with the people who were doing it. The town residents were loving it. So this year we decided to go out and put out to an RFP. I think it's a 3-year contract. Quite honestly, the first group of proposals came in a little bit lower than what the committee had hoped. So we sent it back out and the fees have been elevated.
Okay, and this has been done according to all the laws and rules of the town of Oyster Bay in the way we conduct ourselves on every other RFP?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Has the decision been made on a school yet?
Yes, I believe it's on for voting today.
Okay. Thank you very much,
Excuse
Commissioner.
me, Commissioner, and that school has all the proper insurances,
Oh,
God forbid somebody gets hurt?
Oh, yeah, that's part of the RFP. We wouldn't have accepted a bid without the insurances and the town was being named as additionally insured.
Just want to make sure, sir,
Yep.
thank you.
So there is no truth to the accusations that were made by the residents?
I wasn't here for them, but I can just tell you
You
that.
have insurance,
We have
we're
insurance.
doing it properly, we're doing this as per law, and we're doing this in response to requests from the residents.
And following all our procedures and guidelines regarding RFPs for the town of Worcester.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Are there any other residents who would like to speak?
You didn't answer all my
Mr.
questions,
McKenna, come on up.
What about the other resolutions? No answer on the industrial stuff? Okay, it's up to you.
Kevin McKenna, 3 Edna Drive, Syosset, New York. One of the resolutions I had was tabled. Just on this resolution with the surf school, when I was reading the backup that was online last night, I didn't see any documentation on the actual response to the bid. But more importantly, there's been a lot of discussion about bids being put online. That's something that is a major focus. And I've been looking, and I don't remember, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember this. And only 2 bids were received that I saw last night. And I would think that if it was put online, that maybe you would have gotten more input. I know this is a very small, insignificant matter, but...
We'll get that answered specifically, how many, how this information went out to the public.
Yeah.
I believe it was advertised, but we'll get the specifics.
How was it put out to the public? And goes into a more significant bid.
The commissioner's heading up this way right now. Why don't we get that question answered for you immediately?
As long as you don't eat into my time, if you can eat into my time, I'll finish my questions.
Why don't you do that?
Okay. The next one is the number 317, which is a more significant bid that was not put online that I am aware of. And this is the bid for auto insurance for all the vehicles in the town of Oyster Bay. And this is a significant amount of money, and only 2 companies responded to this, and one of them, of course, is Solano Brokerage. And it appears to me, when I read, what really was surprising to me is that in the backup, Ms. Swanson writes a memo, note to file, that, this is what it says. She writes, had a meeting with CBC Coverage. I guess that's the other bidder. The meeting was with Bill Bress and Michael from his Westchester office, who specializes in municipal insurance, Matt Rosea and myself. Then she writes, after reviewing all the documentation sent, Michael, this is the guy who's bidding from the other company, Michael advises that his quote was higher than Allied Risk, who is Solano's insurance company. And basically Michael tells them that they should go with Solano Brokerage. I find that amusing. He further advised us to go with Allied. Why would a significant bid like this, if this bid was truly put out to the public, you would have over a dozen responses. It looks to me like it was positioned again for Solano Brokerage. And I intend to find out the connection between someone in the town of Oyster Bay and Solano Brokerage. That's my goal. Now, the next one,
Are you in the business? Do you have?
you already asked me that. I wasn't in the insurance business. Mr. Muscarella was. I hope you're not connected to Solano Brokerage. I'm only kidding. No, I was not in this business, but this is a big bid. I mean, we should have gotten 6, 10 bids. You know, it wasn't put out to the public, and it wasn't on the website.
As soon as you're done.
I'm done.
Okay, well, why don't you take a seat, and we'll get you some answers on that.
Thank you.
Mr. Rosea, would you please come forward?
Actually, Chief Deputy Town Attorney, Mr. Scalera would not be.
Please, Mr. Scalera. Can you walk us through the process to reach this point, including the facts related to how we advertised for the RFPs and what we did and to follow the law on this?
All right. Good afternoon, members of the town board. It's been a while since I was up at the podium. Donna Swanson briefed me. She had to run off to court. Donna Swanson handled this, but I know how she did it. We've done this in the past. One of the things I've been hearing repeatedly, a constant theme in a lot of the meetings, but I've never got up here to quite explain it. There is a difference between an RFP, request for proposal, and a bid. And a lot of folks in the audience sometimes use it interchangeably. A bid, pursuant to General Municipal Law 103, is what you call a bid that goes out and comes back sealed, and then they're opened in this town boardroom and numbers are written down. That's a bid. There's an RFP, which is more likely when you use for things like lawyers and services like insurance services and the like. Big difference between the two. 2 different statutes, 2 different sets of rules. In this particular instance, the insurance goes out in an RFP. On RFP, you can send out, there's many ways that you can do an RFP. You can publish it in a newspaper. You do not have to. You can send it out by email. You can send it out by letter. You can send it out by fax. You can do it many different ways. In this particular instance, Donna Swanson of our office, the town attorney's office, went out to 5 different brokers. Went to 5 different brokers with an RFP. The RFP had the specs
of what we needed for insurance, what kind of coverage, and the like, what kind of deductible. Of the 5 brokers, 2 of them, one of them is Salerno Brokers, his company, and the other one being CBS Coverage, Inc., responded to the RFP. Salerno Brokers provided 2 quotes from insurance companies. CBS provided, I believe, only 1. Of the 3 quotes of the actual insurance companies, the lowest responsible one, or the best one for the interest of the town, was Allied. I don't know the rest of the name. Allied is the actual company that's insuring the town. And that is what is presented for this board to choose. It is insurance that we purchase every year. Not all brokerage firms respond. It is not uncommon in the 14 years I've been working here where you could send it to 10 brokerage firms. For some reason, they don't respond. But we sent it to 5, and we got back those 3 quotes from those 2 brokers. And the comment that Donna, I saw the comment, the note she put in the file, that she met with Matt Rose and the person from CBS Coverage. And that person, you mentioned the name, Kevin, that person basically saw the quote and said, I'm not going to be able to beat Allied Insurance Company at the $178,000. That number, if you look back on prior resolutions going back 10 years, it's pretty much been consistent between the 165 to the 185 range. So this pretty much falls in line with that. And that's it. It's that simple.
Can you please tell us what process we went through in order to alert these insurance companies, these brokers, that we were interested, and how many did we contact, and why aren't we contacting more?
Well, to answer your first question, Donna sent it to 5 brokerage companies. 5. Can we send to more? Yes. We'll send to more. But 5 is in keeping with proper procedure under General Municipal Law 104-B. We sent it to 5 and we got those responses. Like I said, we've had this issue before where people question it. Can we send it to more? Sure, you could send it to 100 brokers. You could send it to 1,000 brokers. You can publish it if you like. But again, we have to balance as well, because in the service industries where RFPs are used, publication of RFPs does become quite expensive. We can go into the hundreds of thousands of dollars a year going into RFPs. So what we're doing now, and Mr. Nacella from my office now, what we're beginning to do is get more people on email lists, particularly with attorneys, and we'll email them. We're using that method. And we'll proceed with this in the future to get more brokers. But again, with the price, Mr. Supervisor, is pretty similar, that I've noticed over the years.
First of all, when you go to the market, different insurance agents would bid on certain insurance. The expertise within the field that they have will go. Municipality insurance is pretty difficult. Number 2 is Salerno, who is a broker, goes out to the marketplace. He markets it to every company. So a new insurance agent who wants to bid on it is normally shut out of the market because he can't obtain the market that he already went to. The only way you can obtain the quotes of the current Salerno would be to get a change of broker. Okay? But what happened probably was an agent came in there, looked at it, and said, can't compete. Because he goes to every company that specializes within municipality insurance. That's what he probably did. He gets all the quotes, and he provides the best quote for the town of Oyster Bay. And that's what the procedure's been in the past. Well, because you can go to 10 different brokers, or most of them will decline writing it, okay? Or even bidding on it. So, because A, number 1, they don't have the expertise, and 2, you know, they go to the marketplace is already obtaining, the quote is out there, and it comes back to the town of Oyster Bay. So, the town does get other quotes from this particular agent, Salerno. So he'll come up and say, for property, we have 5 different insurance companies that actually bid on it.
Correct.
And the best one is this company, that's an admitted company, we would suggest that. Also, what's contained within the quote is the loss history of the town of Worcester Bay or the client. So they would look at that and say, this is the best, and I guess Donna Swanson is determining, okay, go with it. She has a trust with the agent. So I know in the past, and no other agent has competed because they can't, because they don't have the expertise.
Well, it's good you mentioned that because in talking to Donna Swanson, there were, like you said, there were some brokers whose response was, we're not going to give you quotes. There were actually responses. I just gave you the two that actually gave us affirmative responses, actual policy quotes.
An agent will come, gather the information, go to the marketplace, get a quote. They know what the quote is currently that the town of Worcester Bay is paying. From that point on, they'll determine whether it's worth it or not to come back to the town of Worcester Bay. But within the agency, I would assume Salerno, which he's doing, he, in the past, I've looked at it, he's come up with multiple companies that specialize within municipality insurance. And that's why.
Boy, I do know just from experience that Salerno Brokerage Company does obtain insurance from insurance carriers for other municipalities.
He's also a very large agent, he's very professional, and he gives service that, I guess, Donna, and so that's where it's at.
But he did come back with the most efficient, the lowest price out of the other ones, so we're not going to reject it if it's the lowest price, given the coverage that we wanted pursuant to the specs in the order.
Okay, also on 323, can we get a copy of the bid documents? I mean, it just says who won the bid. I'd like to see who else bid on it and see what the comparison is. I'd like to be able to see, for the town attorney's office, let's see apples to apples, if you don't mind, not on future documents, future things we're voting on.
What, to list the other prices?
Yeah.
Okay, that's not a problem. That's just a matter of just putting it, taking the information we have and just putting more into the backup for your review.
Thank you, Mr. Scler.
Not a problem.
One more question. Was this advertised on our website?
I'm not certain. I don't think so, but I'll check that. I'm not certain.
If it was not, this should be, and they all should be. This is something that I've stressed, this is something that I've asked, unless there is some good reason you can tell me why we wouldn't advertise this and put the word out. I'd love for every business, especially businesses within the town of Oyster Bay, to have an opportunity to bid. So we must make sure that we're putting this information out. But you're saying it's still possible that this was.
Yes, I have to check for you the nuance.
Check on that.
I do know, but of course, and I know Councilman Mascarella has obviously the background, and look, the more we can put on, but I want to emphasize over the years that the price, and I think Councilman Mascarella, the price of this policy has been pretty much steady in the years that I've seen this resolution. So it's not like it went from 178 all the way up to 250. It's pretty much in that range of the 165 to 185, depending on what year and what law, what loss risk they're looking at.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clark.
Is there anyone else who would like to be heard on these resolutions? Being that there is no one, I ask for a motion, please.
Call for a vote. I'm sorry?
You know what, one quick question on this. Commissioner Pinto, would you also come back forward again? In regard to 323.
Yeah.
Is there time, because obviously now we're into the summer months, is there time to provide this back up to the board at a future board meeting?
Listen, I believe that it's here already. I think it goes up with the proposed approval. So it's here in the building somewhere. Somebody must have it.
If we table this one, is there time for them to put together a surf school if we're not voting on this at the next meeting?
If you're not voting at the next meeting?
If we're not voting on it today,
That's
waiting
fine.
till
I
the
think
next
you're
meeting.
fine. June 20th will be fine.
June, you're sure it won't affect their ability to provide these
Listen,
services?
if the town board wants something, I would be very happy to provide it.
So why don't we take this one off of our list so that we can get that information to each and every one of the board members before they vote on this. We need for our board members to have every piece of information.
I have all the faith in the world in Commissioner Pinto. I just want for the future to make sure we have it. I trust Commissioner Pinto's judgment. I've known him for well over a decade. and I know he's honorable. Wasn't questioning this decision. I just want it from here on out. So I hate to, hurt the swim school or surf school, whatever it is, in any way possible, or delay them from opening. I have no idea who it is. But just in the future, for all departments, I want to see bids and I want to see comparisons.
That's absolutely fine. I appreciate that.
Does everyone feel the same way? Is there anyone else on the board who would like this tabled to the next board meeting?
Vote on it.
Everyone is comfortable with voting on it today?
Mr. Supervisor, anything else? Just real quick, could he answer the question about how is it advertised?
Yeah,
Sure,
I can,
no problem.
because Brian told me how.
The RFP was posted on our town website for the search school. It was posted on our town
It was
website.
posted on our town
I'm not
website.
sure
In
how else it was
addition to
sent out,
this,
but it
how
was
else
on our
did we advertise this? Was it,
Just to let you know, this was in place before I took over as a commissioner of parks.
we understand.
Brian did say it was advertised on our website, and
Did we also advertise this in a periodical, a newspaper?
I don't know the answer to that question.
We have anybody?
I'm not sure about that answer, but I know that the RFP actually is still on our website. It will be taken down after you guys vote on it.
Okay, can we provide that information to the board members so they can see documentation of, print out a copy of where it is on the website so they can read it and see?
Sure, just for anyone's edification,
Legislative Affairs Conference.
there's a portion of our website on the left-hand side that says doing business with the town. We have whatever relevant bids and RFPs are listed there at that point that have been provided to our office. So if you, actually it's still up there if you wanted to go to the website, hit doing business with the town. I'm pretty sure it's listed as Surf School RFP there.
I'd like us to continue to put as much information as we can possibly put up on the website so that it's, so that everyone in the public can see it. Anyone interested in bidding will be able to easily find it and understand it to give them the opportunity to bid. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
There's no other comments on the resolutions. We will call for a vote.
Okay. Supervisor Saladino?
Aye.
Councilman Mascarelli?
Aye.
Councilman McEnon, go slow.
I abstain on P13-17.
Hold on, okay. Abstain, go ahead.
13-17.
Thank you.
I abstain on 309.
Hold on. Go ahead.
And I abstain on 322.
Councilwoman Alessi?
I asked all, but I just wanted to comment. Because I have commissioners from Parks and DPW both in here. On 321, we received some information in my office about the lights in the outfield at POB Park. So if you have people going out there anyway to do general maintenance and repair, if you could just ask them to maybe consult with the local baseball league and find out what the story is. There's something to do with the lights not being in the right place. Other than that, aye.
If you want me to answer that, I'll come up after.
Yes.
Councilwoman Johnson?
I vote aye.
Councilman Ambrose?
Aye.
Councilman Hand?
Aye.
Here we go. P13-17 passes with 6 ayes and 1 abstention. P14-17 through 308, noting that 307 was tabled, passes with 7 ayes. 309 passes with 6 ayes and 1 abstention. 310 through 321, noting that 318 was tabled, passes with 7 ayes. 322 passes with 6 ayes and 1 abstention. 323 through 324 passes with 7 ayes. Now, before we close, we have a walk-on resolution. We have a motion to suspend the rules and add the following walk-on resolution number 326, which is a resolution relating to whereas the town of Oyster Bay Town holds title to 43.21 acre parcels of land located in East Norwich, town of Oyster Bay, New York, known as designated as Section 24, Block B, Lot 377, on the land and tax map of the County of Nassau, which is land adjacent to New York State Route 106, and whereas the town owns title to a 9-acre parcel of land located on Washington Avenue in Plainview, Town of Oyster Bay, New York, known as designated as Section 13, Block B, Lot 354, on the land and tax map of the County of Nassau, and whereas the town has dedicated a portion of said parcel as parkland, and whereas the state of New York would like to purchase both parcels from the town, and whereas New York State Senator Carl Marcelino has introduced a bill in the New York State Senate Bill number S as in Sam 6587, authorizing the sale of said parcel and purchase of same by New York State. Whereas Bill number S as in Sam 6587, submitted by Senator Carl Marcelino, requires a home rule request from the town of Oyster Bay. Now therefore it be resolved that the town board and town of Oyster Bay hereby support Senate Bill number S as in Sam 6587 as set forth herein above, and the purchase of said parcel by New York State from the town of Oyster Bay. And it be further resolved that the supervisor and the town clerk are hereby authorized to sign the appropriate number of home rule request forms in support of Senate Bill number S as in Sam 6587 as discussed above, and be it further resolved that the town clerk shall forward a copy of this resolution with the executed home rule request form to Anthony Pichatelli, Esquire, New York State Senate, and David N. Machette, Esquire, New York Assembly. Got it.
So I'll make a motion, so moved.
Yeah, I have a second.
I'll be happy to second that.
Okay.
Before we take the vote, I'd just like to explain this. I traveled to Albany with the intention of...
This is just to suspend the rules.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is just to suspend the rules. Motion made by Councilor Mascarello, seconded by Councilor McEnroe. On the vote, Supervisor Saladino?
Aye.
Councilman Mascarello?
Aye.
Councilman McEnroe?
Aye.
Councilwoman Lessie?
Aye.
Councilwoman Johnson?
Aye.
Councilman Abrota?
Aye.
Councilman Ham?
Aye.
Motion to suspend the rules and add the following walk-on resolution passes with 7 ayes. Now, I'm going to say, may I have a motion to adopt the walk-on resolution number 326?
Speakers?
We'll get to that after.
We have to put it on the table.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
Thank
moved.
you.
Second.
Now,
I traveled to Albany with the intention of working with the state legislature and the governor's office to transfer property to the state of New York within the town of Oyster Bay, so that this property would be permanently preserved as open space. These are properties that are sensitive to the recharge of our groundwater, sensitive to many species of plants and animals, and it's important to me and to our board to preserve open space in our communities, to protect our environment, to protect the flora and the fauna that reside there, and to make sure that we are doing everything in our power to permanently preserve the small amounts of open space that are left, and to ensure that it is preserved publicly, not in the hands of the private sector, but in the hands of government. The state is interested, and the time is right to utilize not only my relationships, but the resources of the recent state budget, which calls for preserving open space. Realizing that this was the right thing to do, and because of our attention to our environmental resources, we're utilizing this opportunity to present these properties for permanent preservation. I believe that all the residents that I've spoken with support this initiative. They support open space preservation. They support recharge of our groundwater and protecting the species, and as well as the importance of recognizing that we preserve property wherever possible. So I thank you for the support of our board. Is there any public comment on this issue? Mr. Ripp. I just ask that your comments be germane to this resolution.
Yes. Robert Ripp, 77 Sunset Road. Sounds like what you're doing is the right thing, but problem is, I don't see any reason why you didn't release any of this information, why this even has to be a walk-on resolution. I mean, obviously you put a lot of thought into this. I'd like to, maybe you can identify some of the residents that you spoke with about it. I didn't know anything about it until you just walked it on. I don't even know where the property's located or anything.
Okay.
I just think that it would be beneficial. I mean, it sounds like a great plan. Based on what you're saying, I agree with what you're saying. But not being able to read any backup information to really understand anything, I really can't agree with you. So I think that there's no reason to walk this on. I don't know if there's a time thing that all of a sudden you're in a rush, but the point is, it's pretty clear that you knew about this well in advance of today's meeting. Thank you.
These properties have been identified in recent months since I took office. The governor passed legislation to further provide open space and protect our environment as of the April 1st budget. What we were not sure of is whether or not this legislation, this is about supporting Albany legislation, whether or not we would need a home rule message. So we're doing this in case the home rule message is required, and why we're not waiting is because there's a limited amount of days left of session in Albany where the state legislature can vote. We can continue to look at this meeting after meeting here because there's an unlimited amount of public meetings here in the town of Oyster Bay, but there are a limited amount of session days, and we want to provide them with the backup. This is all very common to the process in Albany where they require a home rule request in order for legislation to reach the Assembly or Senate floor, depending on the legislation, so that it meets the muster, and one of the requirements is something known as a home rule message or request. We're providing that to not put any hurdles from our end from this legislation reaching the Assembly floor, and we appreciate the work of our legislators and our governor to recognize that we must do everything possible to protect the open space left here in the town of Oyster Bay, here in Nassau County.
The supervisor is being a little modest because it only transpired in the last 24 hours. He took the initiative to go to Albany yesterday morning, drive up there, spend the whole day advocating the, protecting the properties in the aquifer. And he met with the state senator, and assemblywoman, and came up with this, and they agreed on it. And this is why we're doing the home rule, because we wanted, if it's viable, if it's good.
I'm not questioning the resolution.
But I just want to say that he took out of his time to do this. and
No,
I
it's
think
his job.
It's a grand slam, really, very nice.
I'm not questioning the resolution or the supervisor's job. I'm questioning the fact that you knew about it well in advance of the meeting, that's all.
I don't think
Like
the board really
yesterday.
knew about it.
Knew about it.
until
He just was in Albany
He was
yesterday.
in yesterday. We only found out this morning.
Okay,
And it has to be done
And
today
the
because
time
session's almost
element,
over.
and the time element is now. If we don't do it now, we'll lose the opportunity, because they won't go back into session until next year.
Mr. Molinari, would you like to come forward?
Good afternoon, Paul Molinari, 332 West Nicolai Street, Hicksville. As a former employee of the Environmental Protection Agency and worked in my career on the designation of the Long Island aquifers as a sole source aquifer, I would definitely support any designation of open space being permanently preserved. I just had two questions, maybe I missed it. Is the property being transferred to the state? It's okay, it's being transferred. And where is the property exactly? It said 106, I wasn't sure, I didn't really catch where it was.
There are two properties. One is known as Goat Hill, which is in town, a large, approximately 24-acre piece of property, and the other, I believe, is a 9-acre piece of property on Washington Avenue in Plainview.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
It's a purchase.
It's a purchase.
Is there anyone else who'd like to be heard on this resolution? Will the clerk please call for the vote?
Okay. The motion was made by Councilman Muscarella, seconded by Councilman McEnroe. On the vote, Supervisor Saladino?
As someone who has had one of the best proactive and pro-environmental voting records in Albany, and now charged with the motivation to protect our environment in the town of Oyster Bay, to protect our resources, to protect our species and protect our groundwater, understanding the need for more open space in our town, I overwhelmingly and very proudly vote aye.
Councilman Muscarella?
Aye.
Councilman McEnroe?
Aye.
Councilwoman Alessia?
Aye.
Councilwoman Johnson?
Aye.
Councilman Brodo?
Aye.
Councilman Hand?
Aye.
Motion to adopt walk-on resolution number 326 passes with 7 ayes.
Excuse me, clerk, I have to amend one of my votes.
Oh, okay.
I abstained on P13, I have to abstain, excuse me, P14, I have to abstain on P13. No, sorry, I got that
Abstain on
backwards.
P13.
I got to vote yes on P13, abstain on P14.
Okay, so let the record reflect
Thank you.
that, for you, Councilman Eddie. Let the record reflect P13-17 passes with 7 ayes, P14-17 passes with 6 ayes and 1 abstention. Okay, the calendar is complete. Now we have public session.
Supervisor, I make a motion to close the meeting.
Second.
The clerk will take a vote.
Yes, sir. Supervisor Saladino?
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella? Aye. Councilman McEnroe?
No, I mean aye.
Councilwoman Alessia?
Aye.
Councilwoman Johnson?
Aye.
Councilman Obrado?
Aye.
And Councilman Hill?
Aye.
On to public.
Thank you very much. And now on to the public comment portion. Mr. Robert Fryer. Bob Fryer. Is Fryer in the room?
He had an emergency illness that he had to go attend to.
Hope he's okay. Mr. Molinari, would you like to make a public comment?
Good afternoon once again, Paul Molinari, 332 West Nikolai Street, Hicksville. I'd like to thank the board for that work session on the presentation that was given on road reconstruction and reassessment. I'd also like to thank Deputy Commissioner John Bishop, who I've worked with on several issues over the last couple of months on being addressed on Duffy Avenue. As for the presentation itself, I had one real question that what is the priority ranking factors that are going to be used to evaluate the roads and which roads actually get added? As some of you may know, in the past I've made presentations to this board about Duffy Avenue. Duffy Avenue is a well-traveled road, has the town's parking garage there. The north side of Duffy Avenue has a lot of commercial development. The south side has a lot of, it's all residential. There's a lot of truck traffic on that road. Tractor trailers on that road because you have Stop and Shop. You have the Nassau Candy, Diametrics there. So it's a well-traveled road and it's quickly deteriorating. And also the road itself, there's areas that have curbs, there's areas that have sidewalks, and there's areas that doesn't. The town did, about 2-3 years ago, had a major effort where they reconstructed a lot of the sidewalks on the north side. And a lot of the Sidewalks I've noticed are designated for reconstruction this year, but that doesn't address the area, the condition of the road. So I would once again make a pitch that somehow Duffy Avenue be included on that list for potential reconstruction. I don't know if it needs reconstruction because the drainage system seems to work. It's basically, maybe rebuilding and putting some sidewalks and curbs in. I thank you for listening to me. It's been a long meeting, but it was worthwhile. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Valani. Thank you for your compliments. Thank you for your input. Kevin McKenna?
I think he just stepped to the restroom, maybe. He just stepped out, but his stuff's still here.
Joe Giordano?
Hello, Supervisor and everybody on the board. I live at 309 Forest Pond Road in Glen Head. I just wanted to bring up something about the Tappan's Beach. We're having a problem down there with keeping it closed because we have a problem with the drugs on the North Shore, and everybody knows about that. And we just want to ask the town what they could do about, I know they have the restaurant, so when the restaurant's open, they can only stay open so long, the parking lot. But the marina is open, so we're trying to get it where the kids don't hang out all night. I call public safety, I call the police. They are very busy, so I know public safety is understaffed, but that's our problem. We're just asking what you guys can do to help us with that problem.
Do you have property in the marina?
No,
Okay.
I don't have that.
I'm going to ask our Commissioner of Public Safety to come forward, please, so we can get this addressed. We want to, you're welcome to have a seat. We want to thank you, though, for coming forward. We really appreciate the residents' input, especially on these issues. Residents who work along with public safety in conjunction with the town are truly here for all the best of reasons, truly want to help us, and the more eyes and ears we have out there on these situations, the better job we can do. Thank you, sir. Commissioner, we've been told, informed of problems at Tappan Beach. Please let us know what you currently are doing and what we can do to increase safety and protect property and stop any kind of illegal activity that could be going on.
Yeah, Mr. Giordano, I have spoken several times, so we've been in touch. Both I and Commissioner Pinto from the Parks Department have a meeting tomorrow at 11 o'clock with the Police Department to discuss, as a joint effort, what we can do to better secure things. As you know, it's a challenge there with the kids hanging out. We do have the restaurant, we do have the marina open, 24/7 access, so it does present a challenge, but I think working closely with the police, we can, between the two of us, we can try to get some more attention there.
Are the kids, excuse me, Mr. Giordano, are the kids hanging out on the north side, away from the marina and the restaurant, by the pool area?
Yeah, they're near the pool area,
Okay.
but they also hang out where they do the skating over there.
Okay,
So that's,
all right, thank you, sir.
And what makes it challenging is we have to leave the gates open. That's unlike our other parks where we can, lock the gates up. That one's a little more difficult, but again, nothing that we can't throw some manpower at it and try to address it.
Please do. Would you continue to coordinate with Mr. Giordano and any other resident who perhaps lives in that area, visits that site on a regular basis, so we can utilize their input as well?
Absolutely.
And if there's any problems in terms of cooperation with Nassau County, please let me know, and I'd be happy to make a call personally to help along with that, although they've always been very cooperative with us in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, we're having a meeting. We meet with them regularly, and we called this meeting specifically just for Tappan Beach.
Just for Tappan. Thank you, Commissioner. Does that answer all your questions at this point?
yes, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming, Jim. Has Mr. McKenna returned? Come on up, Mr. McKenna.
Thank you. Kevin McKenna, Syosset, New York. I want to use my time that I have, I guess 5 minutes, specifically on the Cerro Wire property and the town landfill. In light of recent test results that I've been able to get from the town of a few years of testing, specifically on the landfill site, And also, I'm having experts review the results on the old Cerro Wire site, which is part of the Brown Belt product remedial work plan. And actually, when I saw the presentation today, that I compliment also Matt Russo, who I've been able to speak to recently regarding the Syosset Park project. He is very professional and very helpful. I compliment him on the presentation today, and Mr. Lenz and whoever else was involved. It led me to believe today, we talked about, we had a resident at the last meeting who made a very emotional plea about the cancer in the surrounding area to this site. When I saw the presentation today, I said to myself, rather than have a